Here's some other stuff here. Look at this. This must be my notebook or something. Oh, no.
No,
You
yeah,
got your right
yeah,
there,
yeah, you guys share, whoever sits there shares it. Okay,
Somebody else's,
so
there's
Rich.
different handwritings here. There's yours, there's mine, there's...
Yeah, sometimes it's Nom, sometimes it's Mark.
Here's an interesting list. George Kell, Herb Score, Dwayne Kuiper, Don Drysdale, Buck Martinez, Tim McCarver, Mike Kruger, Ray Foss. All former players who became prominent broadcasters.
Oh, that's right. That was the
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So Rich.
Rich Walcoff. Oh, yeah. You have his number?
Yeah,
okay. Let's go ahead and get his back adjusted. The surf was unbelievable. Oh, God.
How'd you not get burned?
Well, I only have my face exposed, and I put plenty of sunscreen on.
Oh, that's right. Plus you wear the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it was nice. God, it was sweet.
So I've got 415 or 617.
No, 415.
Okay. 847 2200.
That's it.
Oh. Hello, Rich. It's Edward and Bruce.
What's going on? What do you say?
Good.
Where are you up in Petaluma right now?
I'm actually at my buddy Mark's chiropractor in Kentucky, but I just don't know the memory still.
Oh, sweet. Oh, no problem. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. We'll go ahead and record our little session here, so don't mind us, and then we'll be done in 2 minutes, and then we'll get into this meat of the interview here.
Perfect. Okay,
There
ready?
we go. Yeah.
Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime sports radio personality. Now, today's show, who's going to be our guest? Who's been on before?
Yeah, a good friend of mine. We worked many years together, off and on, side by side, not at the same station, but we did get a chance to work for the same station the last 6 years at KGO in San Francisco. Rich Walcoff, longtime Bay Area radio sports announcer, and we've got some fun stories to share today.
All right, good. We'll also talk a few things here. You know, Kyle Schwarber got sent down to the minors.
That's kind of a stunner.
Yeah.
And how about the A's cutting loose Stephen Vogt?
Oh,
You know?
yeah, good player.
Yeah.
You know, these things happen.
Yeah. Life is unfair, as John Kennedy once said. Some men get sent to Vietnam, and some get to go to San Francisco.
Hey, well, guys.
Yeah.
Well, Rich.
Yeah, you're right. It's it's performance.
Doesn't happen in a vacuum.
That's right. That's right.
That is true. So also we talk about stuff like Vince Carter wanting to join the Warriors and have the Warriors created an NBA trading frenzy.
Wow.
All right.
Right.
So this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding. Now they just raised it actually.
Oh, great.
Instead of 7.5%, it's been up to 7.75%. Secured by real estate mostly in the San Francisco Bay Area. Doesn't get any more conservative than that. You got to check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Today's trivia theme is going to be baseball, the first 50 years. I want to see if you guys know the answer.
When you say first 50, you mean like from when baseball first started in the 1830s, or when baseball,
No.
like 1900s to 1950s?
Yeah, something kind of close to that.
Because the major leagues, as we know, it started in 1903. Can you believe that? It's been 114 years. Rich and I have covered almost all of it, haven't we, Rich?
That's right.
That's right.
That's when the
Merkel's boner.
Merkel's boner. I remember
1908. You remember that? You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when the ball was square.
Yeah.
All right, don't touch that ball. Don't touch that ball. Don't touch that tile. Sports Econ 101 over here. All right, so that's our little.
Richie, I was telling Edward, I got in 2 hours at Rodeo Beach surfing today. It was unbelievable. And then I had as I told you, I had a flat tire on the way over here. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was all right. I had a great time surfing.
So even though you're working full time, you didn't have no break in the
no break in the
fun
euphoria.
times.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that.
We had this weird smell in our kitchen. We couldn't figure out what it was. Finally, the cleaning lady showed us what it was. We went everywhere. I thought it was maybe some animal that died in the behind the wall or something. What it was were these little tiny worms, about the size of maybe half of a toothpick. There were maybe 6 of them. They were all rotted out, and they were in the back of the kitchen range, and they were kind of in a corner where nobody would notice them. She was so freaked out, my cleaning lady, she didn't want to pick them up, so I had to pick them up. They stunk to high heaven, though. God knows where they came from. Weirdest thing in the world. And for 3 days, my wife and I were just like sniffing, and we couldn't figure out. We went everywhere. Took my, I couldn't figure it out. Isn't that weird though? Worms.
Isn't that what Gus is supposed to do?
What's that? Well, Gus is, that's up on the high area. He can't.
Okay. Poor guy. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Bruce McGowan. Bruce, could you please introduce our guest?
I'll reintroduce Rich Walcoff, good friend of mine. Rich and I go back 30 some odd years when Rich first started working in the Bay Area. Spent about 32 years with KGO All News Talk Radio, and we had a chance to work together for a while. Rich, it's fun having you on here because, like myself, you went to a lot of games back in the day, and we talk about the 1980s prior to all the internet and cable television. How much more informal it was with coaches and with athletes. I imagine you had some interesting experiences in that regard.
Oh, of course. Accessibility was much more readily attained, and I think, unfortunately, today there are layers and layers. PR, black, hack, and the way journalism trying to get the story is much more mandatory rather and limited access.
Well, why is that? Is it just because it's much bigger business?
It's that, it's higher, and I think teams, leagues feel like they want to manage the message. They don't want to better. It's sort of emblematic of what's happening in the nation, in the larger political arena or the media realm itself. So there may be more reporters and online journalists, well, like you said, we're privately, and everyone who's access to the internet and have a blog or a podcast or whatnot. But access to athletes and their availability is severely compromised in this
Yeah, well, I was going to say, with regard to what Rich is saying, relating to his experience, back in the 1980s, you had a coach that you covered and a team that you covered, the San Francisco 49ers, who were always really guarded with the media. The players themselves weren't so much, but Bill Walsh wanted to manage, accessibility. And I know that you had, he was an interesting guy. He turned out to be a great coach, but a very complex individual. Can you tell us some stories about Bill Walsh that maybe some people might not have been privy to? Because you got to know him quite well.
Yeah, I sure did. I mean, I was working on a radio broadcast for over 20 years with the sideline reporter for more than 12 years. I had up close experience and travel with the 49ers on the charter in 1984, 5, and 6, with only a handful of reporters who were given access to fly with the team. And those were the quintessential glory days. Bill Walsh controlled a post-game return flight news conference in mid-flight, mid-plane, and sharing thoughts after his post-game locker room or podium talk. And there was one game after a loss in New England in the wintry game against the Patriots in '86, where I was doing radio and TV interviews in the locker room, and I asked a question that he thought it was rather facile, and he took umbrage at it. Then on the plane ride back, after the question, he kind of barked at me and cut me off. I was taken aback. I didn't expect to hear that, but still was under tremendous amount of pressure. A lot of it from Eddie DeBartolo and winning and calling Eddie Boston. Anything short of a Super Bowl really was not acceptable. And I think Bill felt that pressure and spilled over to the media. But anyway, always after that very exchange on the plane, he walked by me. I was sitting in the seat in the middle of the plane, and he said, "Apologize." He said, "I owe you one." And Bill, a very, very fair-minded guy, I think he realized that he overreacted at the time and flipped his big fence, and I was most appreciative of that. But he seemed to have a kind of a technical relationship with the media, and many guys verify that era of leadership with the great expectations that any would see as opposed to the storied franchise.
I wonder if part of it is because there's so much, like you said, blogs, internet, and all that stuff. that's sort of a supply and demand. They're going to be very choosy, and there's too many people out there who have access from that end of it that they're going to be very limited with the access, one-on-one in person. What do you think?
Well, I think today, certainly, I was on the Niners post-game show, years ago, and the locker room was always slammed with people on the periphery that, whether it's there at Sports Guy or 49ercompany.com, you have these new entries into the media realm that were not along the conventional path of the newspaper, radio, or TV guys. And so the star players who watch the podium, and when you go in the locker room, you have 20, 30 people cramming around an athlete trying to get a comment or two, and invariably there was one or two media PR guys in the organization who would monitor how long he talked, one more question, two more questions. So it's kind of there are layers down. Access to the players, as I said, more limited, even if there are more people trying to obtain storyline.
It's interesting. I remember the 1980s so well because I had covered a lot of baseball, and one of the guys who always was fun to talk to before and after games, more before because he wasn't in a bad mood. If they lost, he was terrible to talk with, was Tommy Lasorda. And I'm sure you remember some stories with him. One time, I'll never forget, we're in the pregame, in his office at Candlestick, and the Dodger beat writers and I were all there, and I'm, sitting with the microphone kind of inobtrusively to his left. He's being very candid. This one writer says, Steve Sax is having a problem throwing the ball. He's committed 5 errors this year. Have you thought of sending him to a hypnotist? And Tommy Lasorda just looks at the guy, hypnotist? What are you talking about? I says, well, it worked for Rick Monday back in the day, and, he recommended it, actually. He thought it might be a good idea. Rick Monday doesn't know what the blank he's talking about. Hypnotist? Hey, why don't I send you to a blanket hypnotist and teach you how to blank and write? You know something? He'll put you under, turn you into a zombie for an hour. When you come out, you know something? You still can't blank and write. What the heck is a hypnotist going to? And then Tommy went on like this, Rich, and for like 20 minutes he just ragged. He loved it, and the media was just eating it up. The guys were laughing. It was all a show, but none of it ever made it to the papers. In those days, you could use the F word, the S word, and nobody would care. But now, any of that stuff gets on the internet. Guys just love that stuff. Oh, I got 20 likes, Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Yep. Oh. Ah. Yeah. Oh. It's true. It's true. Oh yeah. We had a lot of fun though doing it, I tell you.
Kind of reminds me of you see these old movies where talking to the babe and there's like 50 reporters around in the flashes. I don't know, just made me think about that. Okay, guys, we're gonna cut to our first commercial break. Here's our first trivia question. Again, we're talking first 50 years of baseball. The American League Cleveland franchise began in 1901 with another seven teams for the new American League. All right. The franchise began with the name of the Blues in 1901, then the Broncos in 1902, and then the Naps, which for Nap LaJoy, in 1903, before finding the Indians name in 1915. Who was the first player to steal 50 bases in a season? That's our question.
Oh,
I don't know why one thing has to do with the other, but I thought that was interesting about the Cleveland.
Well, you're giving us a frame of reference. What time of the
the Blues, the
So we're maybe talking about a Cleveland Indian, is what you're saying, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
I would agree that based on the number of years here that we're talking about, it would be a Cleveland Indian player.
Cool. All right.
So don't touch that, though. You have to email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to that question. I'm not going to read the whole thing again.
Okay.
Who was the first guy for Cleveland to steal 50 bases?
Sounds good.
Don't touch that dial because Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
And my wife's going to be pissed off because she hasn't seen me. I come home late at night, she's asleep. She gets up in the morning, I'm asleep. So by the end of the week, my beard will be in, and she told me not to grow a beard. So she's going to Friday night. She's going to see me. She's going to go, wait a second. Or not Friday night, Saturday morning when we get up. She'll go, wait a second. What's going on here? Because it's already halfway in, you know.
Is it just something you just decided to do?
I just decided to do. My daughter and I wanted me to have a beard for the summer. So.
Oh, in the summer?
Yeah.
Do it in the winter.
No, it's the summertime.
That gets a little too hot, doesn't it?
No.
That's why you see these guys like playing these, like James Harden playing basketball a lot.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like a beehive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm trying to remember what he looked like before he even had it.
Yeah, kind of a smooth baby face. I think that's why he grew it. He just wanted to have a sort of. He's a strange dude. I don't know how anybody can consider James Harden or Russell Westbrook MVPs for their teams. They're great players, but they're not.
Team,
for their team, but I mean for the league.
No,
come on, no.
I mean the only thing is getting a triple double the whole time.
So what? I mean, to me, a guy like Durant or a guy like LeBron, those guys should be considered MVPs. But hey, listen, they got rings. The other guys don't. So need I say more?
All right, guys, ready?
We're ready. Ready, Rich?
All
right, here we go.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Bruce McGowan. Our first trivia question was, the American League Cleveland franchise began in 1901 with another 7 teams for the new American League. The franchise began with the name of the Blues in 1901, then the Broncos in 1902. Excuse me.
And you said you were going to read this back to us.
Well, not before we went to the break.
Okay, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah,
I like to do that.
Oh, yes, of course. And the Naps, or Nap LaJoy, before finding, that's like the Browns being named Paul Brown.
Yeah, that's right.
Before finding the Indians' name in 1915. Question: who was the first player to steal 50 bases in a season?
For the Indians. Hey, you got that one, Rich? I'm kind of probing.
I have no idea.
It's got to be. Yeah, maybe it was Tris Speaker. He played for the Indians, didn't he? Yeah. Is it a Hall of Fame? Is this a Hall of Famer?
No.
Well, I wouldn't know then. I don't know if Rich would know.
No, but you know the name, though. Ray Chapman.
Oh, the only player who was actually killed.
Yeah.
By, what's the guy's name?
Carl Mays.
Yeah, a pitcher who had a crazy...
Carl Mays.
He had that kind of submarine. He hit him in the head.
Yeah.
And that was before... And after that, some players started wearing helmets. Not too many of them. Still didn't wear... helmets were not even required in baseball until 1962. And then they weren't even helmets. They were liners inside the hat. That's amazing. Willie Mays told me a story. He said that he almost got hit in the head a couple times, and finally Alvin Dark told him, look, we can't afford to lose you, Willie. We're just a liner. Would you please? So in 1962, he started wearing a liner.
How many times did he get hit in the head?
That's like hockey goalies not wearing bats.
Can you believe that? That's crazy.
Well, apparently, and again, I don't know if this is true, but the story with the Carl Mays thing is that, where the sun was shining and how scuffed up the ball was, it was just almost impossible to see.
He was a star player. The interesting thing is Cleveland went on and won the World Series that year. They only won 2 World Series, that one in 1948, and they won it. It was kind of like win one for Chappie. That's what they said, and they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, staying on baseball for just a minute, Kyle Schwarber, kind of a...
Sent to the minors. Yeah, what do you think of that, Rich? That doesn't surprise me because a young player like him, he probably just needs to get straightened out and maybe get some work down there. But a guy like we talked about, Stephen Vogt, maybe the end of the line for him. He's had a good career, but it's, I don't know.
But
the A's are in perpetual transition.
Yeah.
It's always recycling the old and new and anybody who's of any value when they get in free agency, they're going to be dealt or whatnot. So both in 33 years old.
Yeah.
They've got Bruce Maxwell,
Yeah.
along with Begley. So you roll the odd man out, but that A's team ought to be for breach of contract. And the baseball, they're supposed to put the money back into the organization, the Robinson plan.
And also they sue him for not being entertaining enough.
Actually, the A's are, the A's, in fairness to the A's, they are weak defensively. They're pitching. They've had a lot of injuries. And as you mentioned, they have recycled players, but they're a fun team to watch. They have some good players. Chad Pinder, I love this Yonder Alonso. They've got some decent hope. The Giants of the team, I think it's just going to really struggle for a while. Here in the Bay Area, they are just literally an awful team. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Program benefits the smaller market teams and not reinvesting it into the organization, their payroll, but third lowest in all.
Third, yeah. Now, hasn't that whole thing stopped though, Rich? As of this year, I think it's stopped, and that's one of the reasons why the A's are even cheaper because they're not getting subsidized anymore. So, yeah. It's amazing when you think about it. The A's are going to be the one team left standing in the East Bay in a few years. That the Raiders will be in Vegas, the Warriors will be over here on the west side of the Bay in San Francisco. And I wonder if the A's are going to win over the city of Oakland. They're going to have to build a new ballpark because it's just not working in that Coliseum.
Well, yeah, it's the only multi-sport stadium left.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what would tear it down and rebuild it there?
I don't
Where else
know.
can you build it?
They talk about Howard Terminal downtown. They talk about Laney College. I just don't see those areas as being viable. The Coliseum is a great spot.
Yeah, for Bart and for
If you have a good team and it's only baseball, I think they can thrive there. But they got to get new attitude in terms of the way that they're managed because right now it's a joke.
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up about Carl Schwarber, I love that name, Schwarber.
Schwarber.
It reminds me of
It's a good
Schwarber.
German name, yeah? Yeah, it's a Deutsch.
Good well with bagels and lox.
Yeah, that's why the Chicagoans like him so much.
Okay.
Always, yeah.
So, how does it? I haven't seen his contract. They're probably all different. But when a guy gets up down to the minors, does he still get paid?
Oh yeah,
the same amount.
Well, he's not making a huge amount anyway. Rich, what is a guy like Kyle Schwarber making? He's been in the league.
The major league minimum, I think, for a second, third year player.
Yeah.
200,000, 400,000. No, he's been getting that money, but he's not eligible for free agency for those 4 or 5 years. So many times he send the guy down option.
Yeah.
So, he missed almost all last season with that ACL and they come back to the World Series so well. He stopped it, and rather than put down a ton of time the games on the line, let's try to put them down in the minors. A lot of great players in the minor leagues in their career and have bounced back.
And what is it? They just have specialized coaches down there?
No,
You're seeing easier hitting.
I think you're seeing easier pitching. I think also you go down there to work on certain things, and hopefully you have somebody gives you a little extra instruction. But I think it's just no pressure on a guy. He goes down there and he figures it out again because in the minor leagues you're not going to run into top line pitching. And most guys go down there and they don't struggle. Some guys do, and then they really have problems. But life is unfair. He'll be back. I'll be back. Yes, that's right. Right.
And,
go ahead.
I was going to say, shifting over here to Derek Carr, just signed a big extension, didn't he? At Arsenal. 5 year, $125 million.
What'd you think of that, Rich? 125. Is he worth that much? You think?
Well, there are some quarterbacks in the league that $20 million can't cover his stock.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, Derek Carr, huge upside. Probably a top 10 quarterback in the league now. But not only what he's done, what he's continuing to grow to after 3 seasons. He's now the highest paid player in the NFL, edging it ahead of Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
And the Raiders are riding him, and now they've given him some weapons and great protection. You got Marshawn Lynch. I think they got Garrett Cook.
They did. Yeah.
They had no production in tight end from last
Yeah.
year. Go along with Crabtree and
Amari Cooper. Yeah.
I hope his leg is better.
Who's that?
Oh, yeah.
Carr,
Carr.
yeah. Well, it was a clean break. I think the thing, he's only 26 years old, Rich. He's not, he's just hitting his peak years.
He's so committed and so locked in.
Yeah.
Quintessential leader, and he's got the total package. I mean, outside of Aaron Rodgers, Brady, the game on the line. How about the fourth quarter comeback?
Yeah. No, they had 4 or 5 of them last year. Yeah, that's a sad thing. Sad thing, though, is the Raiders will be gone in a couple of years, but maybe they'll win it before they go. That would be kind of odd to have them win it and then move. But then they did that before in 1980, and they moved 2 years later to LA. Yeah. So, strange.
And now, is his contract, I mean, the way those contracts are, what is it, half guaranteed? I mean,
They get signing bonuses that are guaranteed, but no football contract is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Let's have a career-ending injury during in football, then that money you should get compensated. But that's the nature of it. The guys signing $30, $46 million contract have to put some money in the bank when they sign it because it's such a variable on health and ability to stay on the field.
And it's kind of interesting about the timing and luck about when you have an extension coming up, if you have a good year the year before, all these things kind of.
Being on the right team too. I mean, Derek Carr was on some. The Raiders were awful. I think they went 0-11 his first 11 starts, and if you get in a system and the right coach and the right protections he was getting, I mean, man, it's like Rich was saying with a guy like a Drew Brees or a Brett Favre who gets in that right system. I had Brett Favre. The fortunate thing for him, or I should say Aaron Rodgers, I'm thinking of Green Bay, was that Aaron Rodgers got to sit and watch Brett Favre perform and learn from this guy, whereas some other quarterbacks, were thrown into the fray.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Alex Smith. He's had a decent career, but, man, his first couple of years he got beat around like a piñata.
Well, Steve Young learned from Montana.
Yeah, that's, yeah. What happened to him, Rich? What's going on with him?
He tried to make a comeback a couple of years ago, and that's and now obviously the NFL changed the rules on the rookie salary, the rookie salary cap soon thereafter. Receivers getting compensated at permanent level higher than established proven veterans. So there's now a cap on rookie salary. Marcus Russell flew through $30 million guaranteed and $60 million overall.
Wow.
Isn't there some kind of like restraint of trade, or fair trade practices and stuff?
Well, when it's negotiated through the union, the National Football Players Association advocated that because with a salary cap, there's only so much revenue. There's only so much
I know, but it's still on. And when it comes down to it, it's price fixing.
It's
right?
regulation, and here's why it's allowed because the veteran players were getting less smaller pieces of the pie when the rookies were getting more money. There was only $60 or $70 million per season in cap, and rookies were getting it in order.
Well, that's only because the owners were willing to pay it. Of course, they could do price fixing the other way. The owners get together and say, "Listen, nobody's going to make more than $100,000 a year. Done." Okay, hey, break. Stay with us. We got to cut to another break here. Trivia question number 2. The Pittsburgh Pirate franchise began in 1882 as the Pittsburgh Alleghenies until they changed their name to the Pirates in 1891. Who was the first player to hit more than 30 triples in a season for the franchise, which would be a major league record that would last for over 50 seasons?
Wow.
All right, that's our trivia question. And don't touch that dial because Sports Econ 101 is going to be right back.
Jackie used to say, "We're not going anywhere.
We're going
Quit saying we're
going
going to
this
be
way,
right
we're going
back.
that
We're
way.
not going anywhere."
We'll move inside. We go outside. We go.
No, it's funny, Rich. Bob used to tell me, he'd say, "Don't ever say we're going to be right back. You always say, we're looking forward to talk about what you're going to do next, not that we're going to be back." That's an invitation for people to turn off the radio and change the channel.
Now,
We don't want that.
Who would do that?
We want earlobes. We're looking for ears.
Well, that's what I say. Don't touch that dial.
Rich, I think he would have driven you crazy. Bob Agnew.
Edward, one word on your storyline of that. That's called
Collusion.
Oh, collusion?
Major League Baseball.
That's right.
They're not gonna pay anybody for it.
That's right, and they got
Collusion.
dinged big
Yeah.
time.
They got hammered.
Oh,
When
man.
it's collectively bargained, the CBA,
Okay.
the Players Association, and the owners get together and say, we agree on this. It's not a super.
Well, you know what? Hey, but Rich, we're bringing that up on the air. Okay? Yeah.
All right.
I like-
Beautiful day, huh, Rich?
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
glad you're in the air conditioning.
Here we go.
All right, you ready?
You don't have an air conditioning?
No, is there? Well, not in my house. I don't.
You don't have it at your house?
No, just the way our
Wow.
ducting works.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay, here we
Here
go.
we go.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101.
I was giving our friend here a hard time because my boss, former boss, and I won't mention his name, used to say, "Never when you go to a break say we'll be right back. Always forward promote. We don't want to lose our ears."
Well, that's why I told people don't touch that dial.
Yes, that's
Okay,
right. There you
here
go.
was our second trick. Besides, people want to know the answer to these
That's
trivia
right.
questions.
We don't have time for this silliness.
That's right. Okay, the Pittsburgh Pirate franchise began in 1882 as the Pittsburgh Alleghenies.
I was there.
You were there until they changed their name to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1891. Who was the first player to hit more than 30 triples in a season for the franchise, which would be a major league record that would last for over 50 seasons?
I'm guessing it was Hall of Famer Hans Wagner.
No.
Honest Wagner.
How about Roberto?
No.
Is this? No, this is going way
No,
back. Right?
no, actually,
Hall
no.
of Famer?
No, I don't think so.
Would I recognize his name?
You probably would.
Okay, well, go ahead. Mention his name.
Chief Wilson.
I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Yeah, 36.
Well, he must have been a
1912.
Native American because they would sometimes unfortunately they have real derogatory towards Native Americans. Chief Wilson and
But I think that's why.
Chief
And if I'm not
Myers, Chief
mistaken,
Bender.
they,
Most American Indians who played in the major leagues were called Chief.
And I think that's, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken,
probably.
I think that's why the Indians got their name.
Could
He
be.
may have played for the
Could
Indians.
be.
at one point.
Could be.
All right.
Interesting. All right.
So, Rich, you were not chastising me, but you were correcting me off the air. And now I'm going to allow you to correct me on the air.
Amplify the point. That you could, why don't the owners and the other say, we're not going to pay more than my teacher's salary. So, a lot, multi-millions out there paying out. Well, that is, maybe a solution.
Yeah, of course it's illegal. We know that, but that doesn't stop people. But the thing is, the players though are doing price fixing. That's where price fixing comes in because they're saying this is what we're going to demand for our services, and nobody's allowed to play for less than this, or that sort of thing. And I know they have a union.
Yeah.
I say bust the union.
Well, the NFL union is not very effective to begin with. Compared to the NBA and Major League Baseball, oh my God.
Why
I
is
mean,
that? Too many players?
Well, I'll let Rich answer that because I think you have a better fix on it than I do, Rich. I have my own ideas, but I'd like to hear your reflection on that.
The first thing is that players in the NFL, the average career is 3.5 years.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's fair.
Secondly, there are many more football players than there are like basketball or baseball. You have 50 people in a roster.
Mm.
And, maybe they've done pretty well for themselves. Most leagues now provide almost 50% of revenue to players' salaries. That's almost across the board in the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL. So I think there's more equitable fees as well, if you will, in that sense, because it's a symbiotic relationship. Players don't have anything without a league. The league doesn't have anything without the players.
Good point.
And I think in many respects, they come to an understanding here. I wish we have more of that understanding on a larger political scale, as opposed to what we have in the major sports circuit.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
here's and this is kind of goes sort of beyond sports, but these people who kind of chastise people who start a company and build it up and make a lot of money, and it's like, yeah, but you know what? A lot of these people, they put their houses and their lives on the line to build whatever company, be it Facebook or some other company, and if things go back down, do they get to go to all the employees and go, you know what, we need all those salaries back for the last 10 years? No, the owner takes all the risk on that, right?
Well, yeah, sure, but that's a talk for another time.
Mm.
Which, for the listening audience out there, I'm the only conservative one of the three of us.
That's right. You Trump guy.
Yeah,
I got the red hat. I got the red hat with the R.
that's right.
Hey, I'd love to get back. Before we don't have a whole lot of time, but I do have a quick story, and I'd like to hear if you guys have good ones too. My first encounter with a major league manager, believe it or not, was back in 1975 when Herman Franks was managing the Cubs, and I went in to do an interview. Well, not an interview. I went in to hear his post-game remarks. And it was after the Giants won. I think Pete Falcone was pitching, because this is going way back. This is 1975. And he's sitting there in his office, and there are a couple of beat writers, older guys, and myself, with my little tape recorder, and he's got his jersey still on, but he's not wearing anything below the waist. He has no underpants, nothing. He's sitting behind the desk, and in full view of us, and he's scratching his privates. And so when we finished talking to him, he looks over and he goes, "What's your name, young man?" I said, I mentioned my name. And he reaches over. He's been scratching his balls, letting me know where he reaches over to give me a handshake. I'm just thinking, and he goes, you know what he says? He says, "Welcome to the big leagues, kid." I I mean, this was my introduction. Rich, did you ever have anything crazy like that happen to you?
No, thankfully, most of the guys that got for a hand after
Ugh.
the most interview that I had, he was there, Bruce, was Barry Bonds.
Oh, yeah.
5 in the visitor clubhouse, the return
From the strike.
94
Yeah.
lockout to the World Series. I asked Barry in what appeared initially to be a very, fluffy, light interview with that pump up for sort of baseball in spring of '95. I said, do you feel like you owe the fans an apology for the loss of the World Series and no baseball at the end of '94? And he goes, he was just I don't know anybody, nothing. And he was very over the top in defiant anger that I even would reject such a thing.
To deign such a thing, yeah.
Oh, remember, I told Larry there, and then Larry, your voice went off. I sent you the headline on the radio tomorrow morning on TV show. He goes, wait right there, and he brought Barry over. And I tried to play mediator, and Barry and I then spoke further, and he said, I kept track of all the negative things written about me from my Pittsburgh days, and I get very sensitive about that, and explaining all this racial, stuff that he endured, and I'm sure it's true, but Barry was so pissed about his secret that he was at all responsible for what had happened. Got very, very aggressive in saying that. And then when I was around, he backed off. A lot of times, alpha crowd saw when you beat fire with fire, you learn to respect. In that sense, I would give Barry his due for not, for backing off or being a little more reasonable. I realized I wasn't trying to yellow journalist or try to
Agitate him, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I'm trying to think of where Barry, and I don't live in his skin, okay? But I'm trying to think, I mean, his dad was Bobby Bonds, so it's not like he was just some, poor kid out of the ghetto who,
No, but his father was an alcoholic, verbally and psychologically abusive. Barry had a lot of issues revolving around.
Gotcha. But I mean, where's the rage? I mean, I never.
He just, I think Barry just always had a bug up his butt. I hate to use that term.
Chip on his shoulder?
Chip on his shoulder about the media. I think he felt, as Rich pointed out, whenever there was any kind of inference that, he'd be criticized, and Rich, and the way I was there when Rich asked the question, it was not a critical question. Just like, don't you guys feel responsibility? Is there, do you feel like you owe the fans an apology? And he didn't like the way Rich probably presented the question. He's very sensitive about that.
Rich, you're a very towering personality and very intimidating.
Not that I'm intimidating, but I didn't really care. I want to be respected and not liked, and I wanted to feel like I was asking questions that I thought the audience and the fans wanted to have asked.
Yeah.
That was always my opinion. I was called a badger by writing the badger.
That's funny. The badger.
I'll wear that with a badger or a llama.
Yeah, it's fun. I have a similar experience with Reggie Jackson. His last game as an Oakland A, he got a game-winning hit, and I remember Hal Ramey and I went up to him. We were the first ones to talk with him, and I said, "So, yeah, that was quite a way to finish the day." And he goes, "Yeah, it felt really good. It felt really nice." I said, "So, your last at bat in the major leagues, and you get a hit." And he goes, "Last at bat?" I said, "Well, you're retiring, aren't you?" He goes, "I will announce when I'm retired. Not to you, you're a nice fellow, but I'll announce it to when I have a purpose, a reason for that." Well, I can understand. I can appreciate it. Thank you. As soon as I decide to make the announcement, you'll be the first MF I call.
Now, the thing is, did you just have an inkling, or was it just rumors that he was going to retire?
No, he had made it known that he was going to retire after the season, and
well,
it was the last
that's
game.
what you got to tell him. Say,
Well,
you
yeah.
made it known. That's why I said it.
Yeah, well, he just was teasing me. He didn't want to, because he knew it was time to, and he did announce his retirement. But did you ever have any dealings with Reggie, Rich?
Oh my goodness, sure did. And I was a rookie reporter in '75, like came, after our years, 40 years. So, and Reggie would fight your head off. Like, nobody said, "Where are you from? Who do you represent?" He's just one of the most intimidating presidents. But there's a lot of things you can say about Reggie in a family show. So I won't go there. But he really personified the pretentious, arrogant, ambitious, acting, his own
Yeah, that was Reggie all over. Yeah, you had an experience with Jerry Rice. I remember you talked about this earlier. That was not a pleasant one. Where did that have its origins?
Oh, Bruce, you are drugging up. So Terry and I were on Twitter for many years, and then unfortunately, coached ACL surgery. He was rehabbing his knee and missing the action. There was a bus at a massage parlor in South Bay, and Terry was caught, walking the bathroom when the police arrived. He claimed that he was set up by teammates, and he had never been there before, and he knew nothing about the prior.
Yeah, because he was a family man, wasn't he? Married with a couple of kids.
Well, yes, he's a family man, and leave it at that. I called him up, I had his number in the Morningside Radio, and I asked him on the record what had happened. He said it on the side of the story. And he said, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I don't really want to talk about it. I'll get back to you. Well, he never got back to me, and I simply said, Jerry said he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I never really got the impression. That's one of the things when you're working with a flagship station for a major franchise, you have to tread very carefully. And it was outrageous enough that we reported the story. Well, soon thereafter, I saw Jerry in the camp. He was jumping up and down like he wanted to come after me, and Mark was letting him leave. And he was very upset that I had reported what the police had reported, that he was in the presence of people who were busted in this massage parlor masquerading as legitimate business, and it wasn't. Months later, I'm on the sideline on Jerry Rice Day when the Chicago Bears had almost 12 yards, and Carol Owens caught 20 or more passes, and NFL record. And I'm the sideline reporter, and he comes off the field and he looks at me and he goes, "You smile at me and you rip me behind my back." And I engaged him. Jerry, anytime you want to come on the radio, I said, "What am I doing in the middle of the game?" So I backed away. Talk show opened up after the game. And I said, I believe in the middle of a blowout win on Jerry Rice, Coordinator star receiver would literally walk away from the game and get in the middle of a huddle and walk away and glaring at me on the field on a Monday night game. And I called him out on that, and one caller questioned me and said, "What are you going to do? What's really going on?" Retold the story.
That's a great story.
Jerry was listening to it in the parking lot.
Uh-oh.
After the game, and he called KO.
Wow.
Attorneys, and he threatened a lawsuit.
Hey, Rich, wait, hold on. We got to cut to this break, okay? We want you to just finish that up when we come back. Stay with us for 2 seconds. Quick last question here. The Philadelphia Athletics of the early National Association was not connected to the new Philadelphia Athletics of the American League in 1901. In 50 seasons of Philadelphia's AL team, who led the team with the most career wins? All right, that's our question. Do you know that one? Don't just set that down. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, Rich. These hard breaks, you know.
Yeah, we were
I want you just to finish that one off, and then we'll.
You know about these hard breaks. The hard knocks, yeah. But I'm working with John Evans. John is so funny. Whenever I'm playing, I'm over in the corner of the newsroom. Whenever I'm playing sound or listening to it, I have to put headphones on because just the slightest noise, he goes. He's about 20 feet away at his little desk. Bruce, headphones. I said, "Oh, you don't like hearing John?" The other day I had John Sterling on. He goes, "I don't like John Sterling. I don't want to hear any sports. Headphones." Oh, we're almost done.
This is just.
No, we're done. Sorry about that, Rich. Are you getting your back adjusted today? Oh, how's it feel? Better? I know. I'm sorry, Rich. I owe you one.
So all we're going to do is just let you finish off the answer the question. You finish off your story, and we'll say goodbye.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Last trivia question. The Philadelphia Athletics of the early the National Association was not connected to the new A's of the American League of 1901. In 50 seasons of Philadelphia's AL team, who led the team with the most career wins?
I'm going to say Cy Young.
That's what I would have thought, too. But
Yeah.
You don't think he played for Philadelphia.
Okay.
Eddie Plank.
Eddie Plank, who was part of that great Connie Mack group of teams. So with Chief Bender and...
Again, another Chief.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Rich, finish off your Jerry Rice story, and then we'll let you go.
Well, flagship station that can represent our knowledge line personal.
Gotcha. Rich Walcoff, thank you so much for joining us again on Sports Econ 101. We'll catch you again. Okay.
All right. There you go. Good guy.
Good guy.
Good,
Okay.
good stories to tell. Yeah, Jerry. I didn't realize Jerry was after it that badly. Oof. Not fun.
Okay, here's our quotes for the day. Jackie Joyner Kersey said, "Age is no barrier."
Isn't she dead now? I think she is.
Did she die?
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah.
It's a limitation.
Oh, who was the gal? No, FloJo. FloJo.
FloJo died.
Yeah, FloJo died.
So she says it's a limitation you put on your mind.
What? No, what's the quote
Okay,
again?
age is no barrier.
Ah, that's
It's
right.
a limitation you put on
Yeah, I
your
said that
mind.
when I was catching my wave today.
There you go, exactly.
Yeah.
And Muhammad Ali said, in fact, yeah, you guys are so old, I was going to ask you about your interviews with Cap Anson. But I forgot.
Cap
Okay,
Anson.
and Muhammad Ali said, it isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear you out, it's the pebble in your shoe.
Oh, that's true.
Pretty good from
Very good.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he's a
Now,
smart
he
guy.
died.
He died recently. Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Right during it was during the Warriors' first championship run. I remember they had a moment of silence for him
Oh,
during
that's
game,
right.
game two.
I
Yeah.
do remember that.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to say goodbye. Bruce,
Till next week.
Till next week.
Same bat channel, same bat station.
That's it.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions.
And give it away. No, we're not giving it away.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. Okay,
All right.
so as a reminder, I want to make sure that we've got
Next
the right
week we're
time. Yeah.
you're off, right?
Well, we're gonna record